Okay. It's not always going to be the case that the decision I make is the magical keys to the kingdom and this happens. It doesn't. It just so happened that the market agreed that time. There's going to be plenty of occasions where you decide to not merge them and the market agrees with you, because different investors, different days, right? This is the mistake I think a lot of people make, even when they're coming through institutions. Because I don't want to keep saying it's all retail, it's all retail. It's not. The failure rate in institutions, I keep saying, is very high as well. Because I notice they get obsessed with thinking it's the same people trading every day. It isn't. Do the same people go into Tesco and buy bread every day? No, it's different people. Different people every day, different perceptions of value. So some days the market might agree with you as long as you make a logical decision. I keep saying it. You'll be all right. You'll be all right. And believe me, you'll see you've got much bigger things to worry about. When I introduce about 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different lenses to you, you're going to be like, do you know what? Whatever. I'll just take it and move on. You'll understand why I have this kind of, not blasé, but I'm not going to argue about, little value area being here or here. I don't care, because at the end of the day, it's not that I don't care. I recognize that there's other lenses and sort of views of value that I need to worry about. That it's all when I put it together. It's not only composite, as you'll see, that I'm looking at. Although this is all about expectations, helps me form expectations. So it's very, very important. Don't get me wrong, but it's not the only thing I'm looking at. So there we had a huge move. These two I wouldn't merge, but these three I would, and this is a good opportunity for you to split this out, right? Because you've got distribution here, so very much you can split it out. Again, I want to be honest with you, I don't do it. I would just merge these two, but that's, whatever. I've explained why I don't, but nothing wrong with it. And actually it's more accurate if you split them out. Do it for a few months until you make the decision whether it's something you want to do or not. So clearly that'll be cut. Okay. So can you see market open there? Bang, shorting opportunity. Guys, this stuff is, I don't want to say magic, but it is very, very powerful. All you're essentially doing is, it's almost like, ideally you'd want to send a survey out to millions of people and say, what's your perception of value today, right? That is the best and most accurate method of trading, right? In this alternate reality. This is the closest thing you're going to get to that. It's almost like you're doing a survey and asking people, where's your perception of value? And they're telling you. That's why this stuff is so powerful, right? So these two, obviously you'd be merging them. Okay. Mark that. Then you've got, then I would merge these days potentially. I mean, this was out, but this was in. I'm going to merge them anyway. Right, then I would adjust it, then I would merge all of these together. What it is I would merge that. I probably wouldn't merge that day until this new information came in. Then I would merge all of them. Hope that makes sense. Apologize, I forgot to mark these. Take that off. And again, I'm sure you understand, I'm going to try and really speed it as much as possible, just because obviously we are lacking time. So this was a period where the market was very imbalanced. I don't need to merge any of this. I can key off all of these levels, right? Previous levels. This is where it just really comes into its own. I can open, what am I doing here? Look at this. This is from ages ago. Months ago we drew this. Look how powerful this stuff is. You're opening outside of value, you come in, you build. What did I say? You either go balance to imbalance by breaking and building value, the other side of value. So you break the value area, you go imbalanced, from imbalance to rotation, sorry, imbalance to balance, rotational environment, you build, where's the target? Other side of value. These profile, this composite lines are from months ago. This is what I do, guys. I'm using this, okay? This will be my target. I'll take some profit here. Scale out, obviously, point of control, as I said. And then I'll target the other side of value. I know people who don't target, who don't even look at this point of control. They'll just say, nope, I'm going to the other side of value. Again, it comes back to equity curve. Mine's going to be smoother. Theirs might be more lumpy, and they might end up with more. Doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong. Hold it if you want, and then take a full stop. But then when you actually make it, you're going to make money on the whole amount. So it's going to even out. You may even be ahead of me. This is what everyone's different. You have to understand that. Everyone is different. Confidence in levels. There's many factors that come into play. Imbalance, imbalance, imbalance. Okay, I'd still be using all of these levels all the way down. This area, you can see it. And I will show you when we do the VWAP stuff that, look, the market has respected this area. So obviously here it comes into a rotational area. There were definitely shorting opportunities off here. In fact, I'll just open it up. Okay, do you see that? It's clear, isn't it? You can see the shorting opportunities. Okay, shorts, shorts into rotation. I did say I like to scale out here, that's why, but some people will target the other side, which is in theory what I would do with the rest of my position, but obviously everyone plays it differently. I've got my way of playing it. I'll show you the options and you can develop over time. So this, obviously, there's no merges all the way down. This and this clearly you're going to merge, right? And that's going to give you, new investors have come in, they've balanced and said, nah, do you know what? This doesn't work for us. Happens, right? Keep saying it happens on eBay. A few months later, people will come in. The perception of value for items will change. Obviously, in the real, some items can be distorted because they have a shelf life and they become obsolete. That's different, right? Crude oil doesn't necessarily become obsolete, so it's always fresh perspectives of value. And something I haven't really talked about before, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's all the same principle. It's exactly the same. If we strip out that obsolete effect, it's exactly the same, isn't it? Perception of value over a few months is always going to, new people come in, they're going to perceive value within this area slightly differently, or they may perceive it the same. So you might be saying, well, if they're perceiving it differently, why am I using old value? Because until they do, what else is there? That's all there is, right? You're wasting your time looking at this indicator. That don't tell you anything. This tells you where the market's current perception of value is, which is still valid for months, for years, whatever, until I'm not obsessed and going to stick with the old value. If new people come in and tell me, as they've done here, no, this is new value, of course I'll get rid of it. But until this happens, I've got so much opportunity to take advantage until new value is built. Hope that's obvious to you. Guys, this is why every institution looks at this. Can you see? What else is there? Really, what else is there? I'm not saying there's not other ways to trade. Of course there is. There's algorithmic trading, but they're still using volume. They might be doing it in a slightly different way, but they're still using volume. And I can assure you they're still using the guidelines I gave you, the expectations. Obviously, their entries, exits, how they're doing it, how much risk they put on is going to be wildly different. And that's why one guy doing this and another guy doing it can obviously still not make money, and other guy can make money. Of course, it's going to vary by person. Lots of factors that come into it, VWAPs, and I've mentioned this. It's not only this, but the underlying principle in every single institution is the same. And it has to be. Because at the end of the day, I've talked about this in auction market theory. If the market's telling you this is where we think fair value is, why would you ignore that and just say, no, well, actually, my indicator, 50%, this moving tells me something different? It's garbage. Listen to the market, right? That's all I'm saying. Apologies, I did go off on a little bit of a rant there, but Just want to make sure everyone's getting it, that's all. So we've got balance here, imbalance, 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 but in fact there's some nice overlap there, isn't there? So I'm going to merge those two. Investors have come in and they've started, do you remember I said markets balance to imbalance? That's all it's done. It's gone imbalance, unbalanced, found fair value, right? It's what's happening all the time. Market is just constantly in a state of flux until it finds balance, then it will rest there. Market orders, buy and sell, will oppose each other and build volume until one side decides, or the market as a whole decides there's a fundamental shift or whatever, so they need to seek value elsewhere. And either they're going to seek that where previous value is, as I said, or they're going to establish new value. It's happening everywhere. Keep saying it. It's happening in chocolates, milk, eggs, kids' toys. Guys, anything you think of, this is the process. Auction process happening. Okay, so anyway, so we broke out here. We had imbalance opportunities. We came back in, rotation environment, plenty of opportunities there. I'm not obviously going to keep repeating the framework guidelines that I've given you, but you can see it's pretty clear. So potentially here, in fact, even though this has popped out, we've come back in, I would probably merge these days. Okay, and I would obviously adjust this. I'm not going to keep doing that, but then you adjust it, next day comes in. I want you to do it in a much slower manner that I'm doing it. Obviously, I'm covering the whole year on a video, so I'm going to try and be practical. Okay, got value here, you've got value here, and then this, I don't know, I probably would see how it played out. It's a tricky one, isn't it? Have a look at it. This is why I do this. I want you to see. You have to make a decision. Maybe you could argue that is within. So maybe you could argue that is within. So I'm gonna merge them actually. Again, you see there are going to be grey areas. Really not going to make a huge difference. I mean, it's adjusted the area slightly, but I like it. See, it looks pretty good, but the upper side of value didn't really change much. Then we'd merge those two. Okay, balance to imbalance. These two, that's a bank holiday clearly because it was a very short period. So I'm not going to merge those. I'd probably merge this whole area here. Okay. I know it's not the perfect shape, but it's pretty good, right? It's just balanced in one area. Then we've come in. Guys, look at this. It's just amazing, isn't it? I mean, it's not amazing. It's logical. Obviously, the market, there's been a fundamental, maybe not fundamental shift, but a small shift in crude oil. It's only let's not exaggerate. It's 58 to 57, 58.50 to 57. But obviously, something may have happened, a small localized issue in the market. Well, I told you I don't look at fundamentals on a short-term basis. Clearly, something's changed and the market's looking for value to shift. Where's it gone? It's easy. That's why it's happening, because the market is going to test, can we hold this area? It's just an auction process. Okay, so you can see, respected. Really nice opportunities to be rotational on all these days. And then obviously these two, I'm probably, it's a tricky one. Let me see what it looks like. Yeah, I probably wouldn't merge them. Just because this is such a powerful merge, we've got so many days. I'm making a decision based on some thinking, logical. That doesn't mean if you said, you know what, Envy, no, there is some value overlap here. The market didn't really go anywhere between these two prices. I'm going to merge them and get rid of this. It's not the wrong decision at the end of the day. Look, do you see? Actually, I just noticed, this is a great example of what I said earlier. Look, had you done that, new investors agreed with you. Do you remember I said earlier, it will even itself out? See, I wouldn't have merged this, and I might have had to take a little bit of drawdown, but it's fine. I'm okay with that. Make a decision, move on. See, don't become obsessive. This is the problem. I keep saying it with indicators. The indicator will try and look for a perfect way to do. There is no perfect. Don't exist. So stop chasing. It's a liberating feeling when you said, you know what? I use some logic and it seems to be okay. It used to get to the stage where it was like my boss would say, maybe you should. I don't care. You know what? You trade your P&L, I'll trade mine, and I'll live by it, because that's ultimately what happens. When I go home at the end of the day, or when I used to work in obviously in the institutional environment, I was the one that had to be responsible for that, right? At the end of the day, it's my bank account, it's my P&L. Yeah, obviously I was trading firm capital, don't get me wrong. I don't literally physically mean my bank account, although obviously now that I'm a private trader, it is my bank account. But when I was in an institution, obviously I would be trading firm capital. But I just mean a bank account belonged to kind of me in terms of the trading account was mine, right? And the profits that were being paid to me after I split it with the firm were mine. So it was my bank account. Ultimately, I was responsible for that, right? I couldn't turn around to my boss and say, well, you told me to do that. Don't work like that, guys. You know, just make the decision, move on. I know I keep saying it, but I just want to make sure that everyone just understands the power in doing it. So this is all imbalance, nothing to do. This day and this day, I wouldn't merge, but you can potentially split them out. Do you see that? I said, I used to do this for years, so don't think, you know, do it. Merge with next profile. Do you see? It's actually pretty good, isn't it? Works really nicely. Okay, and just in case anyone's getting confused, so I didn't mark the point of control there. I just want to make it absolutely clear, we only cut this profile when we get composites, multi-day, because this is much more powerful than a single day, okay? So I agree, this day did, but it's just one day. I'm not going to cut this. I just want to make that clear. I'm not going to cut it when there's just one day, okay? If another day had come in and we merged the two, yeah, I would cut it. Another day, days come in, whatever, it's not going to be perfect, but do you see what I mean? I want at least 2 days, okay, to cut it. I'm not going to cut one day over a multi-day. It doesn't make any sense. Day-to-day investors coming, going, but when they stick around for a couple days, 3 days, obviously that value build is going to be much stronger, and then I will cut only when I get second day. Okay, hope that's clear. Just thought I'd mention that because, like I said, it was a good opportunity to mention it. So this and this, obviously you're going to merge them, right? So again, same applies, sorry, because I jumped ahead there. Yeah, you see what I mean? It's a single day, I'm not going to get rid of this. And I wouldn't merge these two, right, because we rejected it. Do you see, we went in, rejected, and we'd had a fair few periods outside. Clearly, it's not to me. It's the power of talking to each other in the Discord or whatever it is. Ask each other, what are you doing? You know? You're going to learn a lot by doing that process. Crude's had one of its erratic moments and decided to disappear from me. There it is. Obviously, this was the coronavirus period. Do you see? I'm not hiding behind and saying, no, these are perfect examples. I'm actually showing you in one of the most insane periods. So Obviously, the period we started off with was a very balanced period, and generally oil does, believe it or not, tend to be like that 90% of the time. This was coronavirus, obviously a unique period in history, and I'm going to show you how I merge even in this period, okay? I embrace it. I take the decision. I make it. So clearly here, you're not going to do anything. Next day comes in, clearly you're going to merge. Okay. And I keep saying this, throw anything at me, I will use logic to merge it, okay? And the tougher it is sometimes, the more I think, maybe I might be able to spot an opportunity here that the rest of the street hasn't seen. That doesn't mean, don't forget, I'm making this decision before RTH opens. This hasn't actually happened when I've made this decision, right? I've got the areas here. Obviously, I mark the point of control. And the market, I'm not saying that the market won't do this as well, but the point is, I'm just trying to spot it before the session opens. And then others come in and realize it, but after me. I don't have to be in front of everyone. Obviously, there'll be people overnight who may have spotted this, and I can assure you, institutional investors, look, they're smart guys. They're looking at this stuff, okay? They know value. Go and have a look. Go into any professional firm and talk to them about profile, value, VWAP, POC, VPOC. Guys, to them, they're going to talk to you like it's their first language. They're going to put their hand around you and say, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about, okay? If you go in there and say, oh, 50% fib, all of this, it's not going to cut it. Speak to them about this stuff, any institution in the world, and they're going to make time for you, and they're going to know, they're going to be able to have a discussion with you. They'll be able to sit down with you and talk to you about all these things. Now, oh, okay, so your perception of value was here. This is where the point of control, according to your perception of value, it was here. What were you doing? Were you going for the other side of value? Oh, no, actually, I scaled out at the point of control. Guys, institutional language. You know, I'm really happy for you, and I'm so happy to be able to share this with people outside of professional circle and bring you in so we can have conversations using professional language. So, you know, have confidence in all of this, and know that not every person is going to see this the same way. I know I keep repeating it, but it is important. So clearly I'll be using this as trading this as a rotation environment, merge with the next one. Right, see the market respected it well. We obviously went in balance this day. We came back in, we tested the point of control. Then we went in balance. Great shorting opportunities, even in coronavirus. I obviously did say I didn't trade March because, you know, it's beyond the scope of this, but if you can have a look at my IGTV, I did a coronavirus analysis where I showed the range of markets and how I plotted it on a normal distribution, and I showed we're at extremes. And obviously institutions' models are calibrated differently to trade imbalance periods over time. I mentioned this in one of the previous videos. Do you remember I said, not necessarily when market is balance, imbalance, balance, imbalance, that's fine. But when I said we have long periods of imbalance, the depth disappears. Do you remember I mentioned that? And institutions, they switch their algos off. Don't forget the market's 85% algorithms. When the market's algorithms are switched off and depth is switched off in the supply column, what the market going to do is going to go crazy. And I said I don't want to trade it for that reason. So I identified that. However, I can still merge profiles and I can trade it if I want to, according to value. My point is I want to show you in different environments, so we basically cover every single angle that you're ever going to see and you can make decisions. Okay, so I hope you appreciate I'm actually doing this, even though I didn't obviously trade the coronavirus period, to show you that, look, make a decision if you want to. If you get volatile periods, it doesn't matter. You still got to make the decision. So here, like I said, there's nothing down here. You can use previous value, and then over here you can use the composite. I wouldn't merge these two. Let's move on. We're almost done now. I'm sure you're sick of hearing my voice, so the pain's almost over. So I won't merge that. I wouldn't merge these two. Potentially, actually, there is. Actually, see, the thing is, I was thinking you could split this out, right? and you could merge these two. Okay, nice balance there, very nice. Okay, I would mark the point of control. I apologize if I forget, but do mark those point of controls. Okay, look at this, completely crazy. Do you see how actually powerful profile is? Because straight away you can see where's value. Market is not able to agree on value. You can see this straight away. You don't even need to look at a chart. See straight away, okay, market is not able to agree on any value. So let me stay out of the market. Why would you trade it? It's ridiculous. Okay, theory, you can merge these if you want. Merge this with this with this. But you see, the market is telling you the value area is so wide. Why is that? Because the market can't agree on value. Its perception of value is there, but it's very wide. Okay. And you can see that even here, the market does have that perception of value being very wide. But actually, in between, I think there were some merges. So here, obviously, you wouldn't merge with that. I mean, you could. Maybe you could actually. It's basically overlapping, isn't it? It's filling in this area. I apologize, I jumped the gun there a little bit. Because obviously it just threw me a bit how wide that was. But yeah, of course you're going to merge that. I mean, it's not great, but guys, you're not going to trade this, are you? Look how wide this thing is. It's just ridiculous, right? You're talking like 5 handles, 6 handles. By all means, put them on and look at them. But I personally, I just wouldn't trade this environment. I'll go to the E-mini. Got to be able to recognize these conditions as they appear. Do you see what the market's doing here? It's just filling this in. Look. Do you see? The market's completing the auction process. Okay? It's testing. That's what it's doing. Don't care about, I keep saying it, don't care about an indicator. It's testing. It's an auction. It's doing what eBay does, what Amazon does every day. They don't look at indicators, do they? They look at where are people willing to buy and sell? Market orders, guys. These are all market orders. Now you see what I had you on that thing. I wanted you to understand the auction process. It's going on in the depth of market. It's going on across multiple days. It's just a bigger lens. That's all it is. Okay. Imbalanced, and these three we're obviously going to merge them. Sorry, I'm going to rush ahead. Obviously you would draw that in, and then look at that. Amazing trading opportunities. When you're in balance, you stay balanced, you target the other side. Okay, so we merge that. Guys, I'm going to be seeing merges in my sleep tonight. I mean, literally, I've done that many, but I really hope you can see I've done this to help you. You know, I want this to be the best education in the world. And, you know, that's why I do this. Why would I, you know, I don't want to just show you one perfect example. This example, let me just skip forward and go, no, I've literally covered the entire year, guys. I don't mean this in an arrogant way. I hope you see you're not going to get this anywhere else. You're just not. You're not going to get someone doing this, making tough decisions. I want to show you that I have to make the decision so you can do them with confidence yourself. So there we're going to merge those two. Right, sorry, I did skip ahead, but clearly we're not going to merge any of this stuff. Right, it's gone imbalanced. I'm not going to merge it. Merge those two. You can see it got well respected. I'm not going to merge these two. Completely crazy market place. Theory, you could argue you're going to merge them, but you're not going to be trading it, are you? Let's be honest. Do you see what happened? Even in this environment, it has to be, right? The whole price mechanism process is what? An auction. So this has to be happening even in the most crazy environment. What's it doing? Just filling it in, guys. Just filling it in. Okay? 80% of the market's algorithms, now I'm showing you what algorithms are doing. They're reading volume. They know that there's a cavity here. Let's go and test it. Let's go and see if the market is happy to continue to hold value here. If not, we'll go elsewhere. Simple. Okay. So in theory, you can draw some value in here. Literally almost done now. I think it's just 2-3 weeks left. Obviously, you're going to cut this. You're going to cut this. And I did say I do mark these, right? I know I haven't been always doing it, obviously, the interest of time. Okay. Clearly not going to merge that, it's just a day on its own. Imbalanced, 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 maybe potentially those two. Yeah, those are pretty good. Okay, so I'll merge that. Okay. And this is where we had this historic run, didn't we? Down to almost 0 in crude. But it doesn't matter. Still merge them. Okay, so we went down, went down, went down. Okay, I don't even know what to say to you about that. You look, we moved almost $10 in a day. So I'm not going to merge them. You can, but I'm not going to. Okay. Then we obviously gapped up. I won't even be trading this, let's be honest. You'd be completely crazy, but you can still merge them, is my point. I want to show you in all environments. I keep saying it, but I really want to show you in all environments that, because what this does is, it's good to merge and at least mark them. I'll keep them marked because it will help you as the market progresses to see, has the market calmed down? Has the condition got to such a stage where maybe I can potentially look at a trade? So there, obviously we had balance, we broke out, we had an imbalanced day here, which you potentially could have traded on the short side, but obviously in my mind I'd be thinking, look, the market's incredibly volatile right now. I didn't trade this period, as you know. I was very busy trading, well, putting this course together, but also I was trading FX, and also the E-mini had calmed down during this month as well, so it gave some great opportunity. So whilst I was doing the merges, because you can see, you can still do it, works. Market's still doing an auction process. I don't care if oil goes down to 0. Someone's perception of oil was 0. It's an auction. Perfectly valid. And you can see it. Look, nice, really nice value got built at $12 in crude, guys. You know, this stuff is incredible. Then we came up, look, trading opportunities there, off obviously the edge of old balance. Came up. Went imbalance, built value. Yeah, we spiked down, but then came back up. And here we are today. All right, guys, I hope that was helpful. I've basically almost covered an entire year for you. I apologize if I made any glaring mistakes, but look, at the end of the day, what was that? About 200 profiles or however many it was. Hope it's given you a really good idea of differences. And yeah, if you've got any questions, let me know. But hopefully that's pretty much given you a Bible of pretty much every scenario that has been thrown at me there. Go with it. Have confidence. One thing you'll have to, I haven't mentioned it, and I might do a separate video on it, I haven't decided yet, is when a rollover period comes, you will have to adjust all of these balances going back when the new rollover period comes. It's because of the way that rollover adjustments have to be made for different periods to be joined up. Because don't forget, in theory, these are all different contracts, aren't they? It's like every month, obviously, in oil, especially having new contracts, right? So those contracts have been sewn together using this rollover process, which you can read about on the internet. Otherwise, it would take me hours to explain the whole thing to you. But essentially, it does cause the mobile profiles to go a little bit. They're very similar, you just need to adjust them. I'll talk about it maybe in a separate video, but just so I don't throw you off, if you come in, obviously when this rolls over, it's going to be the next month's contract, right? So there's an adjustment process to make them equalize. So it just means the profiles will get, you won't need to remerge them, but for example, it might just have moved down like that. So you just need to come in and just adjust it back. You'll notice this when it happens. So, but anyway, have a good day. Hope that was useful. And yeah, I'm going to now move on. Cheers.